Hello, water signs, and welcome into your reading for the second half of February, where we're going to be taking a look at the energy in jobs and careers, love and relationships, and life path and mission. But before we jump into that, I did want to touch on a couple of things that are happening in the second half of the month. We do have Venus entering Aquarius on the 16th, so that's going to affect your relationships, some changes in your relationships, a little bit more independence. And then towards the end of the month, on the 24th, we have Virgo full moon, and that's about getting things done. That's kind of like, let's start checking things off this to-do list. Let's be productive. Let's move things forward. Like, stop churning things and actually work on resolving them. So also then the sun enters Pisces on the 18th and Mercury enters Pisces on the 23rd, and that's going to have that energy of like imagination and creativity and kind of some compassion and intuition. So that's going to be happening in between those two times. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'll pull one of these crystal cards to see kind of overall if there's a crystal you should be working with for the second half of the month. And as a reminder, so the style, I'm going to do this where I'm taking a look at water signs in general, but then I'm going to take a look sign by sign. I'm going to pull some individual cards sign by sign, so you can check in the description box below, and that'll have the timestamp link to that portion of the video. So before we get into that part, just remember, take only what resonates and leave the rest. I will be doing also some twin flame videos, and is this your person, some pick a pile, things like that. So make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell if you want to be alerted as to when those new videos post. So, all right, let's go ahead and dig in. We have healing generational patterns, leadership, action, and stamina. So this is all about, people think about healing wounds and that as your childhood trauma, but sometimes it goes beyond that, and it's generational patterns. It's, your grandparents behaved in a certain way, like in an adaptive way, and that was passed to your parents, and then that was passed to you. So some of it could just be how you show up in the world, how you show up in the family. Are you bold? Are you outspoken? Or is it kind of that unspoken rule within your house that you sort of keep quiet? So there's generational patterns like that in terms of how you're acting, and you may not even actively be aware of some of those. So it's healing some of those, taking more of a leadership role in your own life, and saying, if there are certain patterns, I'm not necessarily going to fall into those just because that's what the family does. And sometimes I feel like it's very apparent in terms of careers, whether it's a very specific job, like, everyone in my family is a doctor, everyone in my family is a banker, or everyone in my family is an artist. So some of that has, whether it's ever directly said or not, if everybody is a doctor, lawyer, it could be that the unspoken message is that the family values status, values wealth, values recognition, and their position in the community. If everybody's an artist in your family, creative expression, being yourself, regardless of whether the money pours in, that frames your upbringing differently, frames your beliefs about what you should be spending your time on. So let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to look at the reading for all of the water signs, and then we'll go sign by sign at the end. So we're going to start out with jobs and careers and see what comes out there. Oh, we did have a jumper card. Let's see what that one is. The star. So we'll put that one over to the side, since that was maybe kind of overall energy, since I hadn't actually fully started in the jobs and careers part. So we're going to put that over here with healing these generational patterns. So the star is that kind of like wish fulfillment, and if you'd always wanted to do something different, so that's kind of that inspiration and optimism and joy. So great energy to have as an overall energy. So job and career, in the recent past, we have the High Priestess in reverse, currently sitting in the Six of Wands in reverse, with the next level of energy coming in being the Two of Cups in reverse. So on the job and career standpoint here, So that High Priestess in reverse is there's some sense of like uncertainty, and there's secrets maybe within your job or career. So either you feel like you have to keep secrets at work, or somebody, like, you get the feeling that other people are keeping them from you, and that has pushed you into kind of this energy of like disappointment and disgrace. So this is almost, with this card, if you imagine this person in the upright is triumphantly coming in and they're a victor, this is almost like tucking your tail between your legs, like a secret maybe came out and left you in a sense of feeling embarrassed or disgraced at work, and that's pushing you into this, like, that is going to lead you into this energy of solitude and kind of feeling like you've been rejected at work. So it's like something came out at work that you didn't want to come out, and now it's creating this sense of you feeling isolated from your coworkers. So it's like there was some shame about that. We'll dig in maybe as to what that looks like or next steps when we look at the individual sign readings, but that's kind of the energy. There is some embarrassment at work that's kind of leaving you feeling like you're off on an island by yourself. All right, now let's take a look at love and relationships. In the recent past, we have the Eight of Swords. Current energy is the Moon, with the next level of energy being Strength. So with in the recent past, you've been feeling like you've been trapped and like you're stuck in a rut and you don't know what to do, that there's no way out of it. So in this card, it's more of a matter of that's what you're telling yourself in your mind, not necessarily that you actually really are. Because when you look at this woman, yes, she's tied up, she's blindfolded, so obviously scared. But then there's also this sense like almost all the swords are behind her. There's one that's out here in front of her, but the water at her feet from the divine is leading her out and away from the sword. So if she were to just put her faith in the divine and take these little baby steps through the water, she'll make it out of there. But admittedly, yes, it's a scary and overwhelming situation. She can't see, she can't move, or she can't freely move about because she can't see what she's doing. So from a relationship standpoint, that's that feeling of being trapped and not really knowing how to get out of it, which is pushed into this energy with the Moon of feeling like there's like these secrets and these lies and illusions and trickery. And it's like this sense of anxiety and danger. And also kind of a sense of a little bit of this like hopelessness that, that always catches my eye, like the dogs howling at the moon. Like, a dog howling at the moon is not going to have any impact on the moon at all. And so it's like that feeling of being overwhelmed and helpless. But the next level of energy coming in is Strength. So something, having something kind of coming in, energetically coming in, that's going to change that situation for you, or that's going to give you the strength or the energy or the boost or whatever you want to call it to be able to make those changes. Now, remember, with Venus entering Aquarius on the 16th? Yeah, the 16th. That's going to bring about some changes in your relationship. So I'm guessing that that's going to be coming soon. That something, the part that bridges this feeling of uncertainty to that strength, is going to be coming soon. And remember as well with your, with this overall message of healing generational patterns, some of this stuckness could be related to generational patterns that, well, nobody in my family gets divorced. No one has ever gotten divorced in my family. You have to stay. So it could be that you're feeling trapped because of generational patterns. But the star energy, that's that optimism. So that's also in play here too, is, don't give up all hope. Don't just throw your hands up and say, well, I guess I'm just not meant to be happy in this lifetime. The card that jumped as I was shuffling is the Four of Swords. And that's about having like deep rest and recuperation and reflection and thought. So I think, since that was coming out kind of while we were still talking about this, I'm going to say there's a lot of deep thought that's happening, and you're kind of allowing yourself that time to heal and to reflect as to what's going on relationship wise. All right, let's take a look at life path and mission. In the recent past, we have the Fool in reverse. Current energy is the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And the next level of energy is the Death in reverse. So, wow, I mean, like that's 3 major arcana cards all coming up in reverse. So, I mean, and actually this whole reading is laced with major arcana. So it's a lot of very strong energy, because if you figure of the 11 cards that have come out, 11 like tarot cards that have come out, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of the 11 coming out are major arcana cards. So that's that big energy. And this is related to what's happening now is major life lessons, major life path moments for you. So it's not just that, a little minor argument, with your next door neighbor. Like these are big life path issues that are kind of rearing their heads here. So there's in terms of how you're feeling with your life path, this Fool in reverse is that there's kind of this like unreadiness, like you don't really know what you want to do. And you're kind of afraid of the unknown. Like you like to be able to have some idea where you're going. And it's just been that sense of being lost. Like, I honestly don't even know. And it's putting you in a position where you feel like there's setbacks in life. Like you don't really know what direction to go. So it's not setbacks with that specific direction, but more along the lines of if you thought, oh, by this point in my life, wherever you are, if you're in your late teens or your 20s or your 40s or your 60s, whatever it is, thinking I should have been further along. I should know what my purpose here is. And it's just kind of that sense of, I don't even know. Like there's setbacks and delays. Like you thought you were going to be at this point in your life and you're not, and you don't necessarily have a clear direction as to where it is that you're going. And then the next level of energy coming in, this Death in reverse energy. This energy is going to be like you are resisting some change, and like there's kind of a lack of movement. And I think it's because of the fact that you don't have a clear direction as to where you're going. It's kind of like, if I don't know where I'm going, I'm not going to move at all. And so you're resisting this change, and you're not welcoming in some of the subtle things that might be happening. So that's the overall message for water signs. Let's take a look at some oracle cards, and then we'll start drawing cards specific to each of the zodiac signs to get some clarification or guidance there. All right. So the first one we have is Pride. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. Let's pull another one as well. And Happiness. And so with Happiness, I am aware that being happy means that I am on the right path. So with that, it's kind of that sense of let happiness within your soul be what's guiding you, and love yourself and look for the good in other people, and look for points of points that you have in common, as opposed to just saying that, oh, this person is outside of me or different than me. All right, let's take a look at the Lightworker card. Don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? And that one goes really, really strong here, even though, color-wise, I don't know if it does, but that message goes hand in hand with this healing generational patterns, because oftentimes the generational patterns have to do with compromising on who you are at your soul level in order to either fit in with the family, fit in with society, fit in with whatever situation. So oftentimes the generational patterns have to do with making yourself small. And the way to combat that is to have the stamina to keep pushing forward and to take a leadership role in breaking some of those patterns. So that's a great card, and a great reminder that your real soul tribe will come in and meet you as you are. You won't have to put on a front. You won't have to pretend to be somebody else in order to attract in your soul tribe. Create alchemy. So this is, or creator alchemy, sorry. So this is about being that positive change. This is kind of like that magician energy of changing lead into gold and being able to transform these circumstances and situations into a more favorable, positive one for you, that's going to raise your vibration of you and also of, I guess, the community, the planet. I feel like when you say of the planet, it sounds very grandiose, because sometimes it's that thought of, okay, if I'm one person, this is like one grain of sand in an entire, like on an entire beach. How is like my one grain of sand affecting the entire beach? So sometimes it makes it seemingly more manageable when we just talk about affecting your community. Like, how can you raise the vibration of your community? And it's that whole idea of when something rough comes up. And I love it. It was in a video I was watching where he was talking about, if you have that, if that feeling ever comes up in you, like whatever, you were mad at somebody, you've been treated unfairly, and there's that really angry thought of wanting to lash out at somebody, wanting to hurt somebody. Oftentimes that is actually the energy of the collective that you are picking up on. And as a light worker and a healer, because I mean, let's be honest, a lot of people watching tarot in some way, shape, or form, they're light workers, they're healers, they're empaths. And when you respond in a loving way, like acknowledging that thought, that energetic impulse or hit that you got was not actually yours, but it was energy coming from the collective. When you transform it and then respond in love, that is transmuting that energy. That is changing that energy. And that's taking, even if it's just, one solitary thought, it's taking those low vibe thoughts out of the collective energy pool and it's replacing it with a positive one. So something to keep in mind, like, you create your own experience. And so how can you transform difficult situations like this, where you're feeling that sense of solitude and rejection because something maybe embarrassing came out at work, or you're feeling lost. How do you transform that into something more positive? All right, so that is the overall message. Now let's take a look sign by sign. So water signs, let's start with Cancer, and let's see what message is coming through specifically for you as it relates to this reading. All right, let's pull a couple cards here. So we have the Six of Cups in reverse and the Ace of Swords in reverse. So if we're doing the top line here, this is a sense of like leaving home. And you were getting stuck and you were focusing too much on the past. So now it's in a sense of leaving home. Sorry, my dog sees somebody walking outside. And then the Ace of Swords in reverse energy is kind of this sense of confusion and chaos. And so it's looking like this situation that's left you feeling out in the cold from a work perspective is enough that it's like it's pushing you to leave that job, because you feel just like there's this sense of chaos. You don't really know what direction to go. And it's like you're being pushed in this direction of maybe it's time to take a look for something else. And, don't focus on what went wrong here. Focus on how do you move that forward and move on from that job. So let's take a look and see from a timing perspective, if anything from a timing standpoint comes through on when that job change might come for you. And this is saying right around the corner. So it looks like that's going to be happening soon. So at least it's a swift decision. And, when I say take what resonates, like the beauty of doing these readings is just because this is the energy right now, it doesn't mean that, hey, since this is the energy that's coming through, I guess I'm getting fired whether I want to or not. It's telling you that that's how things look. So if you want a different result, take a drastically different approach than what you are taking right now. Like, change things up. And some of it, take leadership, take action on what it is that's going on and take a leadership role and, you know, use that star energy, that optimism, that hope, and, you know, manifest something better or manifest something different, whether it's a different result at that job or if it's a different job altogether. So on the love and relationship standpoint, we have our 8 of Cups in reverse, and then we have our 3 of Cups in reverse as additional clarifying energy. And this is, again, that feeling of being stuck and you're avoiding making a change. So that energy is coming through as well, you know, even stronger for Cancer. So feeling stuck. And then the 3 of Cups in reverse energy is that feeling of loneliness and reclusiveness. So you're feeling lonely, and there's a sense of like loneliness at work too. So one of the things, I mean, looking at this, there's quite a bit of Cups energy, which is kind of that emotional type of energy, because you have cups. And so let's take a look and see, what does, you know, I'll pull one of these. What does that Strength card, what is that trying to point you towards? Let's see if this will give any additional clarity or insight on it. You're stronger than you realize. So, okay, doubling up on the Strength part. And I'll pull another one of these, but first let's do one of these. Love Message Oracle cards. This is a kind of new deck. I don't know what I think about this one. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is a newer deck. I don't know what I think about this. So we'll see what comes up. Law of Attraction. You have been manifesting this relationship. Everything you want will soon be yours. So, so a little bit, you know, I would say, and let's pull one more, and I'll clarify that in just a second. In terms of feeling stuck, if you keep telling yourself you're stuck, that's what you're manifesting. You're manifesting a situation where you're stuck. Open yourself to love. It is safe for you to let your heart be seen. Don't be scared. So, you know, the whole thing with manifesting is, you know, if you manifest from a position of fear or insecurities or doubts, you're going to end up manifesting the same experience that you're having right now. So if you're telling yourself all day, every day, I'm stuck, I can't get out, there's no way out, in this card here, I'm stuck, it's that whole saying of those who say they can and those who say they can't, both are usually right. If that's what you're telling yourself, you have to realize that you're creating that reality by continuing to tell yourself that. And it can be as simple as saying, you know, the difference of saying, I'm stuck, I can't leave this person, you know. And we'll take a big example. If you're married and you say, I can't, it would destroy the kids, I don't have the money, you know, I can't financially afford to get a divorce. If that's what you tell yourself all the time, that's what's going to keep you there, and it's going to root it in there even stronger. If, on the other hand, you say, this is not the place for me, I need to figure out a way out, then your mind will start to look for ways out. Your mind will start to think about that, because the mind hates unanswered questions. So if you ask yourself that question, I know there's a way out of it, but what is that way? Or I know I can get out of it, I just have to figure out how. It leaves your mind open to that, and it's telling the universe, hey, I'm looking for ways out. Show me some sort of a sign. Show me how to get out. But this law of attraction, if you keep telling yourself you're stuck, there's no way out, then that's what you're going to attract. You're going to attract more of this, I'm stuck, there's no way out. But you need to be able to open yourself up to love. If you're scared, well, if I leave, I'm never going to be loved again, I'm never going to be in a relationship again. Open yourself up to that. So with that, let's take a look. Maybe we can get a timing card here for Cancer, about when is this strength coming in, and, you know, kind of when can we expect to see some movement there. So when is this strength coming in? Winter. So it looks like it's going to take a little while to be able to get to that point where you're seeing a dramatic change. So remember, just because that's the natural energy, that's based on your energy now. If you start putting in a lot more effort into the strength part, that's going to change timing. That's going to change the way this plays out. So, okay, so that was on love and relationships. Let's take a look at life path and mission and see what additional clarifying messages are coming through for Cancer. Ace of Wands in reverse and 10 of Wands in reverse. So there's kind of this sense of like like you've lost your chance. So again, like you felt like you were supposed to be further and you along in your life path, and oh, why am I still here? Like, why don't I know what I'm supposed to be doing? So you feel like you've missed out on some chances there, and it's leaving you feeling burned out. So with the 10 of Wands, I mean, look at all that burden that guy is carrying, all 10 of those wands. And so it's leaving you feeling like this place of lack. So just like I said, the mind hates unanswered questions. That's along this path at the bottom. It's kind of that unanswered question of, what is my life path? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? And you just keep churning that question over and over again, and you haven't gotten the clarity. So it's leaving you feeling burned out. So rather than letting your mind continue to churn on this bottom line saying, what's my purpose in being here? What's my purpose in being here? It feels like I would say intuitively, it feels like where you need to be asking those questions is up here. How do I change this situation? Whether it's that you want to leave and you're trying to figure out how to leave, then you need to be asking yourself the question, how do I get out of this? Or if it's that you feel trapped but you really do want to stay, it's how do I transform this to a loving partnership? But I mean, it comes across that you don't really want to be in the relationship. You just don't know how to get out of it. So let your mind work on this unanswered question instead of continuing to just churn down here like, Wheel of Fortune, going round and round. But let's see if one of these cards will help. So thank you for the lesson. So there's, and I would say actually, I mean, that kind of goes along up here. So let's pull another one. Say no to people and things that stress you out. And this is a really important one. It can go down here with this life path and mission, and it can also go at work. But say no to the things that are stressing you out. Just because somebody wants to energetically be in your field doesn't mean you have to let them. So say no. It's your prerogative. You don't have to let somebody into your energetic field just because they want to be there. And remember, even if things seem tough, thank the universe for the lesson that it's bringing in, and then, incorporate that and move on. So that was our message for Cancer. And let's go ahead then and move on to Scorpio. Let's see what wants to come through for Scorpio. Sorry, that message just seemed really loud for Cancer. It seemed like that was kind of a long one. But for Scorpio, here we have Queen of Wands in reverse, and we have the 10 of Cups in reverse. So the energy here is, this is like this overbearing, selfish energy, and then feeling like that things are not sitting comfortably, and this usually has to do with separation. So it looks like for you as well that if this is the scenario you've had at work, that something embarrassing has come up and now it's leaving you, some lie or some situation has like some secrets come out and it's leaving you feeling embarrassed and kind of off on your own. It does come across that there's going to be a separation from that situation, whether it's, a different role within the company, so you're moving departments, or a different job altogether. And then with the Queen of Wands in reverse, that energy is kind of this like selfish energy and a little bit of like this envious energy. Maybe the secret played out where somebody else got something that you didn't, and so you're in that envious energy. But let's see what, from a timing perspective, when that separation looks like it might be happening. Well, and this is more of like that message of moving on is once you surrender to the divine. So let's see if there's another timing card here for you. Oh, that actually comes out of here. So, but this is a good message. Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. Because to some extent you have. Your actions have created the your actions or inactions have created the reality you're living in now. So yeah, sometimes the timing cards get mixed up because it's all from the same deck that I had made these cards from. So it's just a matter of accepting that you created it and moving on then. So let's take a look then at love and relationships and see what comes up. We have Judgment in reverse, and then we have the Five of Wands in reverse. So there is a sense of like peaceful resolution there, but with the Judgment in reverse, you know, you're ignoring certain chances and you're kind of failing to learn from the past. So that's something that you need to definitely be mindful of. Okay, so here with this Judgment in reverse, there's definitely this sense of like failing to learn from the past, but you are finding some resolution and moving on. So remember, with the Judgment card, with that being card number 20 in the Major Arcana, that comes right before the very end. So when you think of the Major Arcana as a path for a specific life lesson or a chapter in your life, when it gets to the Judgment card, it's a matter of, did you learn the lesson you were supposed to learn? And if not, you keep looping. And there is a sense of failure to learn from the past if you can't change this mindset, if you can't break out of it. But with this resolution and like peace and solutions coming out, it looks like you are. So when you're faced with the possibility of, you know, you may be looping again, it pushes you into that sense of finding what the solution is. So let's take a look at one of these love message oracle cards and see what comes through. Reaching your goal. Everything you want from this connection will manifest in the near future. So this is a matter of, though, figuring out what is it that you really want. So like I was talking about in terms of with manifesting, or maybe that was in the Cancer reading, the message you tell yourself is what's coloring your reality. So those who say they can and those who say they can't, both are usually right. So if you're manifesting from a position of fears and doubts and uncertainty, you're going to keep manifesting the same thing. So again, like if you're in this, oh, I can't leave, if you're telling yourself 23 hours a day that you're stuck and it's hopeless and you can't leave, spending 10 minutes saying positive affirmations isn't going to help. Like you have to change the underlying narrative. So remember, whatever, you know, this manifesting in the near future, whatever you keep telling yourself is what's going to happen. So if this is a situation where you want out, it's a matter of telling yourself, there is a way out. How do I find it? Or there is a way out. I just need to figure out what it is. So, so that's on the relationship side. Now let's take a look at life path and mission. We have Temperance and we have the Queen of Pentacles. So, so the Temperance card is about kind of balancing out of the energies and being patient, and it's about harmony and kind of seeing opposing sides. And then your Queen of Pentacles energy is kind of this luxury, comfort, like attainment type of energy. So if you feel like you just don't really know what your path is, be patient with it. Give it some time. Try to see life in a more balanced perspective, like not being so needy about, I have to find out what my mission is. I have to figure out my life path right now. Take a more balanced and patient approach, and you will see those rewards coming in. Like you will see that sense of comfort of, oh, I did find what my path and mission was. So let me pull one of these cards as well. Things are not as bad as they seem. So you may feel like you're a little bit off your path right now, but you're probably not as far off. It's not as hopeless as it might seem. So that was our reading for Scorpio. So now let's take a look at Pisces. All right. So Pisces, what messages are wanting to come through specifically for you on this reading? All right. On jobs and careers, we have our King of Wands and we have our Ten of Pentacles. So your King of Wands energy, this is that, you know, you're rising up, you're meeting the challenge of feeling like you're kind of out in the cold. So remember the line that was coming up here, if this storyline is applicable to you, is that there was some sort of secret that came out at work and maybe kind of embarrassed you, and it was leaving you feeling isolated and alone. And yeah, so kind of the sense of rejection at work because of it. But the King of Wands energy that's going to be that like leadership energy. So you're leaning into it, saying, okay, this is a situation. Let's change this. Let's resolve it. Let's move on from this situation. And then with the 10 of Pentacles, that's stability. So that's the reward, from a Pentacles standpoint, that's your resources. So it looks like you're able to conquer this, and turn things back around. So definitely a good solid message there. So you have this leadership over here as well on your healing generational patterns. So it looks like there's some good leadership energy that's turning that situation around for you at work. All right, let's take a look at the love and relationships part and see what additional messages want to come through for you. All right, so we've got your 7 of Cups in reverse, and then you have your 3 of Pentacles in reverse. So it's a little bit of this sense of, you have too many options. With each of these cups, if you can see that, I don't know if it'll focus very well. Each of those cups has different things in it. So it's like there's too many different things that you're trying to choose between. So if you've been, this line, again, was that sense of feeling like you're stuck, like there's been you feel like somebody's kind of pulled the wool over your eyes, or that there's some sort of, anxiety or illusion that's coloring your relationship, and you have been feeling stuck. And the Strength card was like, the Strength energy was the next one that was coming in. And, but you still feel like there's too many options. So it's like, you want to make a change, but it's like, do I make a change this way? Do I make a change that way? Do I go this way? Do I go that way? And it's like, you've decided you need to do something, but you don't really know what to do. And then with your 3 of Pentacles in reverse, now the 3 of Pentacles card a lot of times can be representative of the twin flame journey, because it's like divine masculine, feminine, and spirit kind of all coming together to collaborate. But in this situation, being in the reverse, it's kind of the sense of like conflict or apathy or rivalry. So instead of it being this collaborative teamwork feeling, it's kind of this sense of almost like, I'll call it every man for themselves. So some of these options have the consequence, or by choosing that option, you're pitting yourself against your partner, or you're pitting yourself against somebody else. So it's like there's a lot of fuzziness here as to what direction to go. Like, you need to do something, but you don't really know what it is that you need to do. So let's take a look at this love oracle, or love message oracle cards. This is kind of a newer deck. I don't know what I think about it yet, but we'll see what comes up. Nothing has gone wrong. Trust the process. This connection is divinely timed. So, it could be, if you are in a twin flame connection, that there's something divinely inspired by this, and that some of this feeling of being trapped is really just an illusion. And, with your current energy feeling like things are an illusion and that there's some sort of deception, that could be just a matter of needing to push you to have the strength to stand up for yourself, to say, hey, wait a second, this doesn't feel good. But let's also pull another card from here and see if that gives any. Take a step away from your current problem. So whatever the problem is, it could be that you just need a little bit of space, a little bit of breathing room to be able to see it from a different standpoint. And let's pull a timing card to see when it looks like some clarity will come in on this situation in terms of what you should do, like what that next step should be. At the most inopportune time. So the universe has a fun way of doing that. Now remember, some of the other cards that we had under here, like with happiness, that if you feel happy about something, it means you're on the right path. But then we also had this one, this don't dim to fit in. So remember, whatever, when you're looking at, here's the different options that I have, if some of these options involve you making yourself smaller to make your partner feel more comfortable, that's not the option. That's not the one you want to go towards. So make sure that you're not doing that. And then we also had this creator alchemy. So you can create your reality, and it's a matter of what is it that you want to create. So make sure that you're connecting to spirit, whether that's meditation, whether that's journaling, whether that's just going for nice walks, and try to see things from a different standpoint. You know, don't get overwhelmed by it could be this, could be this, could be this, could be this. Just stay focused on what you can objectively see, and focus on what is your intuition telling you. All right. Let's take a look at life path and mission. So remember, in this path here, it was kind of that sense of you thought you would be further along in your life or have a better understanding of what your purpose here is, what your life path, what your mission is, and you don't feel like you have that. So you're resisting some change. Like there's maybe some subtle things that are trying to come in that you're not seeing because you're focused on the past and like, oh, well, I thought I'd be further along than this. So the two cards specifically for you, Pisces, that came up, it was the Five of Cups in reverse and then the King of Cups in reverse. So there's a sense of like worry and stress about the situation. Like, why is it that I don't know? I still don't know what I'm doing here. And then there's also this sense of like turning the corner though. So this is good energy. This Five of Cups in reverse is turning the corner, because upright, it's kind of focusing on what is going wrong and you're not seeing the bigger picture. But in the reverse, you are seeing more of that bigger picture. You're accepting it and kind of moving on. So some of it is also this energy here of take a step away from your current problem. Like, don't focus all of your energy on, I have to figure out what my path is. I have to figure out what my path is. Sometimes it's the small things that come in. You just have to be present in the moment and notice the things, because if you're tasking your mind out to, you know, really, really think about the problem, sometimes you're missing the subtle things that are trying to come in and show you. So let's take a look. One more card here. They love you more than they're telling you. So I would say that kind of goes up there. And then if there's one more over here, and you're misreading the situation. So you're thinking, oh, I'm so off track. I'm behind where I should be. I should know more. You're right exactly where you need to be. So let the future unfold the way it needs to. And you'll be getting your messages from spirit as to what direction to go. So I hope you found this reading to be helpful. As always, take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. There will be some new videos posting, so make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification if you want to be alerted as to when the new videos post. And in the meantime, I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time.